You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you rise anew if you have not first become ashes? Thus spoke Zarathustra. The world will not wait for you to feel ready. It will tear through your flesh, burn down your illusions, and demand an answer from your bones. Are you becoming, or are you decaying? Strike the bell of your becoming, like the hammer of a forgotten god awakening in the abyss of your soul. If this voice drags fire from your ribs, let it echo, like, subscribe, rise. You were not born for ease, not for comfort, not for softness, not for the dull warmth of an unbroken spirit. You were born into a battlefield, wrapped in the flesh of a screaming infant, tossed into a war you did not choose, but one you must fight to the end. The war is you. Every weakness, every excuse, every part of you that trembles at the sight of pain is the enemy. And here's the first truth. If it doesn't hurt, it doesn't transform. If it doesn't tear through your ego, rip the cowardice from your heart, and crush the parts of you that beg for rest, it's not growth, it's stagnation, masquerading as peace. You speak of dreams, you speak of destiny. You say you want power, clarity, freedom, but do you bleed for it? Do you shatter the weaker versions of yourself? Do you willingly enter the fire knowing it will destroy who you were? To give birth to something you've never dared become. There is no strength without suffering. There is no wisdom without pain. There is no ascent without sacrifice. You want transformation, then enter the crucible, burn, and be reborn with your bones screaming poetry and your breath reeking of war. The will to power. It is not ambition, it is not success in the eyes of the herd. It is the sacred eruption of your inner volcano, the force that says, I will rise, no matter how many times the world buries me. It is the violent discipline of becoming the version of you that terrifies the old self into silence. Do not misunderstand power. It is not control over others. It is mastery over yourself. It is waking up with chains on your soul and breaking them one link at a time until your very breath becomes a rebellion against mediocrity. The will to power is not a whisper. It is a roar that shakes the heavens and demands the gods take notice. But power demands a price, and the currency is your comfort. So I ask you now, what are you willing to give up? Because if it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't tear at your flesh, mock your pride, and leave you crawling through the mud of your fears, you are not evolving. You are rotting slowly in a gilded cage of delusion. You want to rise, then love your fate. Amor fati, the love of everything that happens, not because it is good, but because it is, because it's yours, because the pain, the loss, the betrayals, they are the sacred architects of your strength. There is no triumph without the shadow of disaster. No masterpiece without suffering carved into its spine. You cry out, why me? No, it must be you. Fate chose you not because you are ready, but because you must become ready. Because you must become the one who looks at pain and says, I will make fire from this. You must love the fall, love the scrape of your soul against the bottom of existence, because in that pit, in that abyss, is where your strength sharpens into myth. Amor fati is not passivity. It is warrior acceptance. It is saying yes to the storm because the storm will sculpt you. It is bending your knee to no God, no man, no easy path. It is swallowing your suffering like wine and rising drunk on the nectar of destiny. Let the weak hate their fate. Let them numb themselves in comfort. Scroll through artificial lives, pacify their wounds with lies. But you will love your fate. and you will make something eternal out of it. Because self-overcoming is the only religion worth following. To look at your own reflection and declare war. To wake each morning and ask, which part of me must die today so that something greater may live? You're not here to maintain. You are here to destroy who you were yesterday, every single day. This is not motivation. This is surgical annihilation. This is the scalpel of self-mastery. This is where you stop being a passenger in your life and become the hammer that shatters your chains. No more prayers for ease. No more idols of comfort. No more apologies for wanting more than survival. You were not made to crawl in the dirt of mediocrity. You were born to walk with bleeding feet through fire and smile. So love the pain. Because if it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't burn, you're not alive. And when it burns, let it. Let it strip away the weakness stitched into your skin by years of comfort. Let it scorch the lies you were fed, that you're fine as you are, that happiness is the goal, that the world owes you softness. No, the world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. And that begins with solitude, the sacred silence where no one can rescue you, where the crowd's noise dies and only your raw voice remains. Solitude is not loneliness, it is confrontation. It is sitting face to face with your inner coward, the voice that pleads for distraction, for validation, for an easier way out. And you stare back, unblinking, saying, "You don't get to speak anymore." Most men run from the silence. They seek noise, endless scrolling, false laughter, empty pleasure. They fear what they are in the absence of distraction. But the one who grows seeks it out, because only in that void can the next version of you be summoned, dragged from your ribs, baptized in fire, carved from agony. You want clarity. Bury yourself in solitude until every voice dies but one, yours. Until your will becomes a blade sharp enough to cut through fate itself. You don't find yourself in comfort. You forge yourself in isolation. Like the sword forgotten in the mountain's belly, you must sit in stillness until the furnace of truth burns you alive and forges you into something that cannot be broken. Do you want to be liked? Or do you want to be free? Because freedom is expensive. It costs popularity. It costs your old self. It costs your illusions. But on the other side of that brutal freedom is the only thing worth having. Sovereignty over your soul. And once you've tasted it, you'll never kneel again. Not to opinion, not to weakness, not even to your own fear. You will learn to choose pain like a warrior chooses his blade. You will welcome discomfort like an old friend returning for another night of truth-telling. And you will see there is no punishment in suffering, only revelation. This is the law of eternal recurrence, that everything will return, that this moment, this pain, this choice will happen again and again forever. So what will you choose, to become or to hide? If you knew you would relive this life endlessly, would you still run from the flame? Would you still betray your calling just to feel safe? Or would you step into the fire, fully, finally, and own it all? Nietzsche's curse was his gift. He saw that life is not something to endure, but something to affirm. Every scar, every failure, every scream, it is yours. You either wear it with defiance or it wears you. So affirm it. Affirm the cold. Affirm the heartbreak. Affirm the betrayal. Affirm the silence. And shout into the black void, yes, again. I choose this. Not because it's easy, not because it's painless, but because it is mine. This is how you crush the victim in you. This is how you bury the child that wants to be saved. This is how you rise, not once, but eternally. You don't get to rise once and call yourself transformed. The world will break you again and again and again, and you must choose every single time to become more, not less. Let them call it madness. Let them say you're obsessed. Let them scream, you're too intense. Good. That means you're alive, because this is not a path for the casual. This is for those who burn with questions too loud to ignore, for those who cannot pretend to be asleep any longer, for those who would rather be shattered by truth than sedated by lies. You are not chasing comfort. You are chasing the edge, the raw edge of your own potential, sharp enough to cut through your former self. And when you fall, because you will learn to fall with purpose, to hit rock bottom like a warrior planting his flag, to rise with dirt in your teeth and say, good, that's one more layer of weakness burned off. You are becoming something rare, something ancient, something that terrifies the soft. You are not here to heal into who you were. You are here to kill who you were. This is not restoration. This is reinvention. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't feel like death, you're not being reborn. Let it break you. Let it rip through your lungs. Let it grind you into bone and fire, because that's how legends are made. And when you are nothing but ash, when the old self lies in ruins around your feet, smile. That is the moment of your true beginning. That is the birthplace of the one the world has never seen, the one even you were afraid to meet. This is the death of the old self, not metaphorical, not poetic, a real death, one that takes your ego, your excuses, your carefully constructed identity, and rips it limb from limb until you stand exposed, unrecognizable, raw, primal. The death must be chosen, not by accident, not by decay. You must kill it yourself, not because you hate who you were, but because who you were is not enough for who you must become. Growth is not additive, it's subtractive, it's the stripping away, the chiseling of the marble, the slicing of the fat, until what remains is the brutal, unvarnished truth of your being. You weren't born to be liked. You weren't born to fit. You were born to become, and becoming is war. So die well. Die every morning. Die every time you see yourself fall short. Die every time you lie to yourself. And let that death feed the fire of the one rising in your place. This is not pain for pain's sake. This is pain with direction, pain with intention, pain with soul. Because the man who has learned to suffer well becomes unstoppable. He doesn't flinch when the world turns cold. He doesn't break when others turn away. He doesn't retreat when he is outnumbered, because he knows. He's been through worse and chose to keep going. Suffering becomes the teacher, not because it's fair, not because it's noble, but because it is true. There are lessons forged in fire that no classroom, no book, no mentor could ever give you. There are truths that only show themselves after the third night without sleep, the fourth failure in a row, the 1,000th moment of self-doubt. And those truths, they do not whisper. They scream. They carve their names into your bones. They say, here, this is who you really are. Not when things are easy, but now. The path of becoming who you are demands everything. It demands that you face the abyss and smile back. It demands that you become so brutally honest with yourself that you flay your own soul open and dissect every lie you've ever told yourself just to sleep at night. And in that agony, something ancient stirs. Not the modern man, not the pleaser, not the victim, but the beast, the creator, the overcomer, the one who does not kneel, not to culture, not to fear, not even to time. He is reborn in each hardship. He welcomes each scar. He drinks struggle like sacred wine, because he knows this is the only way. Not the easy way, not the popular way, but the true way. The weak will call you broken. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're not who you used to be. Good. You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to become something they no longer recognize, because they refuse the fire that you walked through. You're supposed to evolve so violently that your old friends don't know how to talk to you anymore. You're supposed to rise with a look in your eye that makes comfort tremble and mediocrity flee, because you're not soft anymore. You're not seeking permission. You're not begging for applause. You are becoming the storm. You are becoming the one who others look to when everything falls apart. The one who speaks with calm in the chaos. The one who walks through destruction with grace. The one who has nothing left to prove, because his existence is proof. And this is just the beginning. Because when you finally stand tall in the fire, when your eyes have seen hell and chosen to remain open, when your soul has kissed death and spit blood in its mouth, then comes the final test. Eternal recurrence. Would you do it all again? All of it. The failures, the betrayals, the nights you screamed into your pillow, the moments you thought it was over, the days you hated yourself, the hours you questioned if it was worth it. Would you live it all again, forever, knowing that it was precisely those moments that forged you into this? The answer must be yes. A violent, thunderous, unwavering yes. Because if the answer is no, you have not yet become. You are still avoiding the fire instead of becoming it. And becoming it, becoming the fire, is the only path to truth. Become the fire, not the flicker, not the ember. The all-consuming blaze that leaves no lie unburned, no weakness untested, no illusion unbroken. The fire does not ask permission. The fire does not wait for consensus. The fire is. And you, if you are to become anything worth remembering, must burn the way stars are born. In collapse, in violence, in nuclear defiance of darkness. This is the final death of comfort. This is the exile of the herd. This is the lonely, sacred path of becoming. Not improvement, transfiguration, not discipline alone, but devotion to a sacred rage, the rage that says, I will not die a diluted version of myself. You are not here to manage your potential. You are here to detonate it, to rise from the crater of your former self and terrify the world with how ferociously you refuse to remain average. So let them call you mad. Let them call you too intense, too obsessed, too far gone. You are. You are too far gone to return. Too far gone to ever be tamed again. And that's exactly what is required. Because this world does not reward the lukewarm. It devours the passive. It erases the forgettable. But the one who becomes myth. So feed the fire with your past, with your regrets, with every limitation that once shackled your spine and bent your neck toward the dirt. Feed the fire until there is nothing left but truth and steel. This is not a metaphor. This is metamorphosis. This is where you cease to be a man with dreams and become the weapon fate has waited for, and fate has waited. It has watched you crawl through years of sedation, of excuses, of wasted potential, and whispered, when will you rise? The world does not need more good men. It needs dangerous men, men who have mastered their chaos, men who walk through agony with poise, men who are not destroyed by failure, but invigorated by it, because you will fail, over and over. But if you fail forward, if you fail violently, if you learn to love the sound of your own bones cracking beneath the weight of your purpose, You will rise in a form that no one can comprehend. This is what they fear, not your success, but the depth of your transformation. The raw power of the man who has been through hell and built a throne there. And you must, because the alternative is death by comfort, death by compromise, death by the slow, silent rot of untapped potential. So no, you will not apologize for being relentless. You will not shrink to make others comfortable. You will not dim your fire so the blind can feel safe in their shadows. You will be seen as the threat you are, not to others, but to every false thing in yourself that still clings to safety. You will become a walking storm, not angry, not unhinged, focused, clear, inevitable. Because once you have chosen this path, there is no turning back. Only forward, only through the suffering, through the silence, through the nights where you question everything and still rise with blood in your mouth and purpose in your chest. You will walk alone, often, but that is the price of clarity. That is the cost of becoming. And in that solitude, you will hear it, the sound of your soul forging itself. Like steel against steel, like gods in battle, like thunder in your bones. You were not made for comfort. You were made to carry fire, to bear the unbearable, to outlast the storms that erase lesser men, to build from your suffering a cathedral of power that even time cannot desecrate. And one day, when you have bled enough, sacrificed enough, become enough, you will stand on a mountain of your own making, and the world will ask, "How did you do it?" And you will answer with silence, because there are no words for this. Only fire, only scars, only the unshakable presence of the one who refused to die weak. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't burn, you're not becoming. If it doesn't kill who you were, it's not transformation. Let it all burn. Let the soft parts scream. Let the coward in you beg. Then walk past his grave and never look back. You are not here to be whole. You are here to be forged. You are here to be forged, not found. You do not discover yourself like treasure beneath sand. You build yourself in fire, under pressure, in the terrible silence where no applause comes, where no hand reaches down, where only your will survives. Do you understand what that means? It means your pain is not a punishment. It is a calling. It means your failures are not evidence of unworthiness. They are the hammer blows shaping the immortal sculpture of your soul. You want power? Then you must die 1,000 times. You want truth? Then you must tear your own lies apart with bloodied fingers. You want freedom? Then earn it, in sweat, in solitude, in sacrifice, because no one will give it to you. No one is coming. There is no savior, no cavalry, no rescue. There is only the version of you waiting in the fire. The one who refuses to kneel, the one who does not fear the abyss, the one who walks into the storm not to survive it, but to own it. If you want to be remembered, suffer louder. Let every wound you've ever buried be dragged to the surface. Let the world watch you bleed and keep walking. Let every ounce of your agony become fuel, not for revenge, not for validation, but for becoming. Because the man who endures what others run from becomes a god in a world of insects. You think you need time? You don't need time. You need intensity. You need to stop negotiating with mediocrity. You need to stop sleeping with weakness and calling it patience. The clock is not ticking. You are. Every second you hesitate is a second the old self claws its way back from the grave. Every moment you delay is a moment wasted in a life that owes you nothing. So move, act, Do not wait for the perfect plan. Make war with what you have, with who you are, right now. Strike, fail, strike again. Every blow you take is instruction. Every setback is sacred. Every scar is a page in the scripture of your becoming. This is the sacred rhythm of growth. Break, burn, rise, break, burn, rise, over and over, forever, until your final breath becomes a commandment to the next warrior behind you. Become or be forgotten. Because that's the truth, isn't it? No one remembers the comfortable. No one builds statues for the well-rested. No one carves the names of the obedient into stone. Legacy is reserved for the possessed, for the ones who suffered without breaking, for the ones who stared into the void and built a bridge across it. So the next time it hurts, lean in. Don't retreat, don't numb it, don't run, feel it, let it destroy what it must, and then rise, newer, sharper, more dangerous than before. This is the art of self-overcoming. This is the soul's blacksmithing. This is the crucifixion of the coward and the resurrection of the warrior. You must love the pain. You must kiss the fire. You must embrace the suffering, not as the enemy, but as the architect. Because pain does not come to end you. Pain comes to show you, to unveil what comfort concealed, to awaken what sleep sedated, to sharpen what time dulled. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost your ignorance. It will cost your illusions. It will cost your former peace. But what it gives you in return is clarity. The terrifying, unrelenting clarity that you were not born to be safe. You were born to set fire to what they told you was enough. You are not here to tiptoe through life with a half-beating heart. You are here to scream into the void with every fiber of your being. I was here, and I did not bow. So when you are tired, keep going. When you are doubted, keep building. When you are bleeding, keep fighting. This is not just a choice. This is a declaration that you will not go quietly, that you will not end as you began, that you will not fade, but ignite. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't burn, you're not becoming. If it doesn't kill the old you, you are not evolving. So suffer with pride, struggle with purpose, burn with love for your fate, and let the world watch you rise. Rise, not with arrogance, but with inevitability. Rise like the mountain, silent, massive, unmoved by the winds of opinion or the storms of doubt. Rise as the one who no longer negotiates with fear, because fear has been welded into your armor. They told you to be balanced, to be reasonable, to be gentle. But the gods don't speak in gentle tones. The gods speak in thunder, in flame, in blood and bone. And if you would meet them, if you would stand among the immortals of history, you must become the thunder. You must become the eruption. You must become the unstoppable rhythm of the will-made flesh. Balance is for those who aim to survive. You are here to transcend, and that requires obsession. It requires madness. It requires that you love what breaks most people. Let the world say you've gone too far. Let them call your fire unnatural, your solitude dangerous, your hunger pathological. Good. That means you're on the right path. The path that shatters illusions and leaves only truth standing. The herd cannot follow you here. They do not want to burn. They want safety. They want comfort. They want permission to remain the same. But you want everything. You want the abyss, the fire, the glory, and the grave. You want the totality of what life can be. So take it with both hands, with blood on your knuckles and stars in your eyes. Because this is how gods are born, not through inheritance, not through accident, but through agony willingly endured, through walking into the very thing that terrifies you and refusing to blink, through turning every I can't into I must, every someday into now, every what if into I did. You are the fire now. You are the war. You are the myth becoming real. Let others chase comfort. You chase eternity. Because what you're building here is not just a life. It's a legacy. A signal fire for every soul crawling through the dark, begging to believe there is more. And there is. But it costs everything. Your excuses, your pride, your laziness, your softness. You trade them all. And in return, you get something unbreakable. Not happiness, not peace, but power. Real power. The kind that no one can give you. No one can take from you because it was forged inside you. It is your war, your crucifixion, your resurrection. And this is the gospel of the one who rose through fire. That suffering is sacred. That pain is the path. That glory belongs to the ones who do not run when the earth cracks open, but step into it willingly. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't leave scars, it isn't real. If it doesn't demand your soul, it isn't becoming. It's pretending. So hurt, break, fall, bleed. Then rise with a scream that splits heaven open and claim what you were meant to become. No apologies, no mercy, no turning back. You've burned the bridge. Now become the storm. Become the storm. Not a gust, not a breeze, but the unrelenting force that drowns the old world and baptizes the new in ash and lightning. Become the one who doesn't wait to be chosen, because he chooses himself in every breath, every act, every ruthless decision to rise again. You see, destiny does not belong to the hesitant. It belongs to the possessed, to those who suffer with intent, to those who cut off every exit and say, there is no way out but through. You want transformation? Then destroy the bridge to your former life. Burn the ships. Kill the voice that says, maybe later, and drag your future into the present like a beast from the underworld. There is no salvation without slaughter, no triumph without torment, no crown without crucifixion. You were never supposed to stay whole. You were supposed to shatter again and again until the version of you that remains can never be broken again. The ancient warriors didn't pray for peace. They prayed for war worthy of their strength. You are that warrior. And this life, this cruel, beautiful, punishing life, is your battlefield. So what will you do? Will you shrink when fate screams in your face? Will you cower when the fire licks your heels? Or will you lean into the flame, laugh in its chaos and become more because of it? This is amor fati, the love of everything. Not selective, not comfortable, but radical, defiant love for all of it. The betrayals, the failures, the years you lost in darkness. You love it not because it was easy, but because it was yours, because it forged you, because it woke you up when comfort numbed your spirit and mediocrity dulled your blade. Amor fati is the whisper that says, yes, again, give me more. Let the world try again to break me. Let the storm return. I will use it all. And when you understand that, when you feel that truth in your bones, you become untouchable. Not because the pain stops, but because it no longer owns you. You carry it like armor. You wield it like a sword. You walk through fire not hoping to survive, but intent on evolving. That is the power of self-overcoming, the raw, merciless art of becoming what you were never supposed to be, because you weren't born finished. You were born capable, capable of breaking, capable of rising, capable of transforming into something that terrifies the world with how unrecognizable you've become. And you must terrify them. You must unsettle them. You must be so radically committed to growth that your very presence makes the stagnant feel exposed. They will try to tame you with doubt, with praise, with shame. They will try to clip your wings and call it love. They will try to mold you into what they need you to be. Do not let them. You were not made to fit. You were not made to bow. You were made to become the thing they fear to name. The exception, the firewalker, the wall breaker, the myth forged in solitude and violence, and the eternal question, what else am I capable of? Because you are capable of so much more. More pain, more power, more clarity, more war, more life. But you will only taste it if you bleed for it. So bleed. With purpose, with fury, with devotion. Because every drop, every wound, every tear shed in the dark is a seed. And your future self is the harvest. The one who walks with quiet eyes and thunder in his chest. The one who fears nothing because he's already lost everything and survived. The one who does not hope, he wills. He wills his rise. He wills his clarity. He wills his victory. And when the dust settles, he is not surprised because he knew all along. If it didn't hurt, he wasn't growing. And now you know it too, deep in your marrow, etched into your ribcage like ancient scripture. If it didn't hurt, it was never real, never sacred, never yours. You see, the world teaches you to fear the fire, but the fire is the only honest thing in this world. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't lie. It doesn't care who you were yesterday. It only asks, can you endure what it takes to become immortal? And immortality, true immortality, has nothing to do with name or fame or statues. It is not a legacy written in gold. It is a legacy written in the bones of those you changed by simply existing, raw, powerful, untamed. Because when you fully become, you radiate something ancient, something that speaks to the part of others that they've long buried, their hunger, their courage, their forgotten fire. You awaken it just by breathing. You don't motivate, you unleash. You don't inspire, you challenge. You don't comfort, you expose. That is what the fire does. That is what suffering does. That is what you do once you stop pretending to be less than you are. This is the end of pretending, the end of hiding behind false humility and quiet desperation, the end of the fragile mask that begs for permission to exist. You don't need permission. You need conviction. You need the violence of belief, belief in who you must become, no matter what breaks along the way. The world is breaking. Look around. Weakness is dressed as virtue. Silence is praised as wisdom. Obedience is sold as peace. But you were born with rebellion in your spine. You were made to look the crumbling empire in the face and build a kingdom in its ashes. A kingdom of will, of pain sanctified into power, of clarity born from chaos. That is your task now, not to fix the world, but to become the kind of force the world cannot corrupt. Do not ask for understanding. Do not wait for support. Do not explain your fire to those who still sleep. Walk, bleed, become. Because the clock is not counting your minutes. It's counting your missed moments. Every second you choose comfort is a betrayal of the God within you. Every day you play small is a funeral for the man you could have been. So bury him. The soft version, the hesitant version, the one who flinched when the world raised its voice. And raise in his place the one who doesn't bow anymore. The one who speaks with storms in his throat. The one who carries his pain like armor and his scars like sigils. The one who is no longer becoming, but has become. This is the death of waiting, the death of hoping, the death of maybe. There is only now, and the fire, and what you choose to do with both. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If you don't fear the next step, It's not big enough. If the path is easy, it leads nowhere worth going. So take the harder road, the one that eats your comfort and feeds your character, the one that breaks your heart and strengthens your soul, the one that makes your name mean something, not to the world, but to yourself, because you will die. That's the only certainty. And on that day, the only question that matters is this: did you become who you were meant to be? Not who they wanted, not who was safe, not who was expected, but who you were born to become. The fire, the weapon, the myth. If not, then rise again and again and again, until the grave itself can't hold you, because your will has already transcended time. Transcend time, not with words, not with empty declarations, but with action engraved into eternity. Every day you rise despite the pain, you chisel a monument the universe cannot ignore. Every time you silence the voice of weakness and move forward anyway, you become the proof, not a theory, not a concept, a living testament to what happens when a man stops asking how long it will take and starts asking how far he can go. The question was never, will this hurt? The question is, will it change me? Will it strip the falseness from my skin? Will it leave me raw and real and dangerous? Because that's what growth is, not accumulation, annihilation, the old skin rotting off in sheets, the illusions dying gasping deaths. The soft parts turn to smoke, so let them die. Let your past die. Let your excuses die. Let your fear of judgment and failure and being misunderstood rot in the sun, because you're not here for approval. You're here for ascension. You were born with thunder in your chest and war in your eyes, and yet you spent years whispering when you should have roared. That ends now. You do not owe the world your politeness. You owe it your transformation. The most violent, beautiful, terrifying unveiling of self possible, and it will terrify them. Because the truly transformed man is untouchable. He does not beg. He does not flinch. He does not bend his will to fit their comfort. He moves like prophecy. He speaks like judgment. He lives like a question no one can answer. So become that. The world already has enough good men. It has enough cowards who smile to fit in. It has enough broken souls pretending they're whole. What it needs, what it fears, is you, fully awake, fully unleashed, fully indifferent to anything but becoming. You say you want peace, then go through the war, because there is no peace worth having that isn't forged in hell. You say you want purpose, then bury yourself in the work, bleed for it, sacrifice everything for it. Purpose doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing, from throwing yourself against the mountain again and again until either it breaks or you do. And even then, even broken, you rise. Because the one who knows why he suffers can endure anyhow, because the one who has become will to power does not ask if it's fair. He commands that it be meaningful. So command it. Command your pain to become fuel. Command your failures to become instruction. Command your losses to become proof that you are not done, only just beginning. And know this, no one is coming to save you. No mentor, no guru, no God, no map, no shortcut, no easy way through, only you and the fire, and what you dare to build from it. So build something eternal, not a life that looks good from the outside, not a story that wins applause, but a soul so forged in pain and purpose that not even death can erase it. That is legacy, not what you leave behind, but what you become so fully, so ruthlessly, that the universe itself remembers. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't scar you, it won't shape you. If it doesn't demand your complete and utter destruction, it is not worthy of your rebirth. So go. Become unrecognizable, become unrepentant, become undeniable, become, and never stop. Become until the word no longer makes sense, until it is not something you do, but something you are. A force, a flame, a verdict written in flesh and silence. Not a man becoming, but being, fully, completely, relentlessly. You are no longer chasing potential. You are executing inevitability. You've been broken? Good. You've been doubted? Good. You've lost, failed, screamed in the dark and heard nothing back? Good. Because that was the baptism. And now you rise baptized in your own blood. Not cleansed, consecrated, not softened, sanctified by fire. And what stands now, what breathes now, what walks now, is you at last. Not the projection, not the personality, not the mask. You, without compromise, without apology, without illusion. You are what remains when everything false dies. You are the stillness after the storm. You are the clarity found in the eye of pain. You are not a seeker of comfort. You are a soldier of the self. You are not a prisoner of fate. You are fate incarnate, walking upright, unblinking, unbreakable. And now they will try to stop you. Now they will offer you peace treaties, applause, handshakes, empty congratulations, because they think you've arrived. But you know the truth. There is no arrival. There is only the next battle, the next evolution, the next layer of weakness to destroy, because becoming never ends. It is not a season. It is not a destination. It is an eternal choice to step into the fire again, even when you no longer have to bleed again, even when you've already won, to suffer on purpose, not because you're broken, but because you're building something divine. You were not born to be happy. You were born to become, to struggle beautifully, to endure mythically, to transform ruthlessly. So do not stop. Do not soften. Do not rest in the shell of who you are now, because even this version of you must die. There is still more pain to endure, more power to unleash, more truth to embody, more darkness to mine for light. You are not the end. You are the beginning, the signal fire for all who still sleep, the voice that speaks when the world is silent, the storm that walks. Let your breath be the drumbeat of your becoming. Let your scars be scripture. Let your will be an iron sky under which no lie survives. You are not done. You are never done. You are the eternal recurrence of fire, the sacred scream against decay, the last man standing when even time forgets your name. And still, you rise. If it doesn't hurt, you're not growing. If it doesn't burn, you're not becoming. If it doesn't kill you, it cannot resurrect you. So choose, now, always, forever. Become who you must, or be forgotten.